Yun, which means wine. La Yashala, which means to Israel. Shapar, which means horn. And Majim in the room. Zarwa Punya Hakadum, which means stand, turn and face the east. I'm going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shmashamayim, Pradash Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Tabah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathunlano, Lachum, Kalyuam, Basalakano, Kawathno, Kasalakno, Kawathno, La'ah, Tabayano, Badasai 1, Abal, Hawashano, Mayun, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Wa'ataparath, Labalumium, Amun, in the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day, our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Prayer for the power in Hebrew, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Bakusha, Nethunlano, Hakak, Larpa, Kalmakala, Wakal Madawa, Hakak, Latahar, Hamatazariah, Hakak, Lakwayum, Hamathim, Hakak, Arakawa, Hatamala, like Rashan, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Wad Amun. In the English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness, all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. Pray for the power structure in the Hebrew. Rakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahushua. Wa Mayaka'al. Wa Lahai. Matazabi Alawak Yahan. Halawaki. Asrunyu. Akwazianyu. Akhayali. Wa Akwathi. Yahweh. Bahashem Yahushua. What Amun. In the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushua. And Michael. And the angels, Commander General Yohanan, the generals, captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, thank you. So be it. Pray for the prophesied curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, listen to us now, right now, send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, the princes, the priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the heathen, and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel. They refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses, and punishment and destruction to the Edomites and the nations, and their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, Paskamatazi, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space programs, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street, open up the internet and the airwaves, the cable access channels, and the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us and bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume them. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let Yahweh, Michael and Gabriel, come down with flying saucers and punish all the heathens that come up against us as we speak thy words. Cause to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause to be spread through the media, throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahweh. Thank you always. So be it. Psalm face the front. Yeshabium.
Just do a test the wireless microphones. Just do a quick test on those.
So we're back here with another Sabbath service, picking up where we left off last week. We're in the middle of the plagues coming down on Egypt every time the Pharaoh refuses to let the Israelites go. Every time the Pharaoh refuses to let the Israelites go, the plagues get worse. And they only land on the Egyptians. They only land on the Egyptians, even if they're right down the road from the Israelites. Their cows are dying, our cows are not. They're being plagued by flies and blood in the water and locusts. We're drinking clean waters. We got clean kids inside chilling with no flies and no locusts. Everything's good because the Lord is sending these plagues for a reason. And so we're going to keep going. We're going to pick up where we left off last week in Exodus, the 9th chapter and the 23rd verse. We're going to pick it up in the Hebrew. Exodus chapter 9, verse 23. Wayat Masha Ath Matawa al Hashmayim Wa Yahweh Nathan Kulath Wa Barad Wa Sahalak Ash Rataza Wa Matar Yahweh Barad Al Rataza Matazarium. Verse 24, Wa Yahya Barad Wa Ash Mathlu Kwakath Bathwak Habrad Kabad Ma'ad Ashar La'ah Haya Kamawa Bakal Arataza Matazarium Ma'az Hayatha Lagoya. Verse 25, Wa Yak Habrad Bakal Rataza Matazarium Atkal Ashar Bashada Ma'adam Wa'id Bahama Wa'athkal Ashab Hashada Haka Habrad Wa'ath Kal Aitaza Ashada Shabar. Verse 26, Rakbarataza Gashan Ashar Shambunya Yasha'ala La'ahaya Barad. Verse 27, Wa Shalach Parai, Wa Kural Amashah, Wa La'aran, Wa Yamar Alaham, Hataathia, Abaim, Yahweh, Hatazdiak, Wa Anya, Wa Aimya, Harashayim. Verse 28, Aith Yarwa, Al Yahweh, or Rab, Mahayath, Balath, Alahayim, Wabrad, Washalcha, Athkum, Wala'ah. That's it for one. La'aimad, verse 29, Wa Ya'mar, Aliwa, Masha, Ka'aitazat, Tazathia, Athayar, Aparash, Athkapya, Al Yahweh, Akwalawath, Wakadalian, Wahabarad, La'ah, Yahya, Iwad, Lama'ain, Sadai Kaya La Yahweh Harataza. And back to the English from verse 23. And Moses stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along the ground, and the Lord rained hail upon the land of Egypt. So there was hail, and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt, since it became a nation. So now this is the next plague, this plague in the Egyptians. The Lord sent thunder and hail, and you can imagine hail like this. Hail that's going to take you out. Hail that's like if you happen to be caught in the field, it's like you're getting stoned from heaven. This is not hail that's just, oh no, it's hail. This is hail that's going to kill you, the crops, and all the animals. And now it's fiery hail. Verse 25. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field and brake every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail. And the Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron and said unto them, I have sinned this time. The Lord is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. So finally he's having some humility, but as we know, it's not going to last. He's got humility until the plague stop. Right, verse 28. Entreat the Lord, for it is enough that there be no more mighty thunderings and hail, and I will let you go, and ye shall stay no longer. And Moses said unto him, as soon as I am gone out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands unto the Lord, and the thunder shall cease. Neither shall there be any more hail, that thou mayest know how that the earth is the Lord's. And we talked about this last week, how, Moses has all these gestures associated with these plagues. He's spreading his hand, he's extending his rod. These are things to show that the Lord is with Moses, and that they got to go through Moses to get to the Lord to lay off these plagues. So we're going to jump back to the Hebrew. Back to the Hebrew from verse 30. Wasta, Waibajika, Wadaithya, Kaya, Tarum, Thayarawan, Wapunya Yahweh Lahayim, verse 31. Wapashatha, Washaira, Nakatha, Kaya, Ashaira, Abiyab, Wapashatha, Gabaal, verse 32. Wahata, Wahakasmat, La'a, Nakwa Kaya, Apialath, Hana, verse 33. Wayatiza, Masha, Ma'ain Par'ai, Atha'ayar, Wayaparash, Kapua al Yahweh, Wayakadalwa, Akwalwath, Wahabarad, Wamatar, La'a, Nathak, Arataza, verse 34, Wayara, Par'aya, Kaya, Kadal, Hamatar, Wabarad, Wakolath, Wayasap, Wakata, Wayakabad, Labwa Hawa'a, Waibajua, verse 35. Wachazak la parai wala'a shalach athbunya yasha'ala kashar dabar Yahweh bayad masha, chapter 10 and verse 1. Wayamar Yahweh al masha wa'a al paraya kaya anya hakabadathya athlabwa wa athlab ibajwa lama'ain shathya Dathya, Allah, Bakurabwa, and back to the English from verse 30. But as for thee and thy servants, I know that ye will not yet fear the Lord God, And the flax and the barley was smitten, for the barley was in the ear and the flax was bold. So Moses is saying, even though I'm going to go and put a stop to it, I know as soon as I stop it, you're going to go back to what you was doing. Because every time Pharaoh gets a little bit humble, it's only until the plagues stop. And then it's right back to, no, y'all can't go nowhere. So Moses said, all right, I know what's going to happen, but I'm going to put a stop to the plagues. Verse 32, but the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. And Moses went out of the city from Pharaoh and spread abroad his hands unto the Lord, and the thunders and the hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunderings were ceased, he sinned yet more and hardened his heart, he and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, neither would he let the children of Israel go, as the Lord had spoken by Moses. And so just like we said, just like what happened last time and the time before that, just like Moses knew it was going to happen again, as soon as the plague stopped, Pharaoh went right back and said, y'all ain't going nowhere. So the Lord said, I got something for you. Don't worry. Chapter 10 and verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart. Because remember, this is all happening. Nobody's just stupid, right? The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that this all could play out exactly as it did, to show the strength, to show the power of the Lord, and to show the love that the Lord has for his people. For I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, that I might show these my signs before him. So back to the Hebrew. Verse 2. Just a second. Verse 2 in the Hebrew. Olam Ein, Tasapar, Ba'azanya, Bunka, Wabun, Bunka, Athashar, Atha-Ilathia, Wa'atazarium, Wa'ath, Athathia, Shah, Shemathia, Bum, Wa'adaithim, Kaya, Anya, Yahweh. Verse 3. Wa'ba'a, Mashah, Wa'aran, Al-Par'aya, Wa'yamarwa, Aliwa, Kamar, Yahweh, Alahaya, Hibarium, Imathia, Manath, La'inath, Mupunya, Shalach, Imya, Wa'naibadnia, verse 4, Kaya'am, Ma'an, Atha, Shalach, Ath, Imya, Hanunya, Mabaya, Machar, Arba, Bagabalka, verse 5, Wakasath, Ayun, Arataza, Wala'ah, Yokal, Lara'ath, Atharataza, Wakal, Ath, Yathar, Apalatha, Hanasharath, Lakam, Mun, Abrad, Wakal, Ath, Kal Harataza, Kal Ha'itaza, Atazamach, Lakam, Mun Hashadah, verse 6, Malawa, Bathika, Wabathia Kal Ibadika, Wabathia Kal Matazarium, Ashar La'ah Ra'awa, Abathika, Wa'abuath, Abathika, Maywum, Hayathum, Al Ha'adamah, Aid Hayawum, Azah, Wayapun, Wayataza, Ma'aim Par'aya, verse 7, Wayamarwa, Ibadya Par'aya, Aliwa Aid, Mathya, Yahaya Zah, Lanwa, Amokwash, Shalach, Ath, Manashim, Wayibadwa, Athyahawa, Alahayahum, Atarum, Gadai, Kaya, Abadya, Abadah, Matazarium, verse 8, Wayoshab, Athmasha, wa Atharan, Al Paraya, Wayamar, Alham, Lakwa Ibadwa, Athyahawa, Alahayakum, Maya, Wamaya, Hahalakum, Hahalakim. And back to the English from verse 2. And that thou mayest tell in the ears of thy son and of thy son's son what things I have wrought in Egypt and my signs which I have done among them, that ye may know how that I am the Lord. So again, this is explaining why these things are being done, why the Lord is hardening Pharaoh's heart, why he's making him stupid enough to keep bringing more and worse plagues upon himself, so that the Lord could show his power in a way that we will still be talking about here, 5-something thousand years later. So, verse 3, and Moses and Aaron came in unto Pharaoh and said unto him, thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, how long wilt thou refuse to humble thyself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow will I bring the locusts into thy coast, and they shall cover the face of the earth, that one cannot be able to see the earth. And they shall eat the residue of that which is escaped, which remaineth unto you from the hail, and shall eat every tree which groweth for you out of the field. So whatever still managed to grow after the fiery hail, the locusts are going to eat it. Verse 6, and they shall fill thy houses, and the houses of all thy servants, and the houses of all the Egyptians, which neither thy fathers nor thy fathers' fathers have seen since the day that they were upon the earth unto this day. And he turned himself and went out from Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's servants said unto him, how long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the men go, that they may serve the Lord their God. Knowest thou not yet that Egypt is destroyed? So now at this point, Pharaoh's people are looking at him like, look at what's going on. Look at what's happening to us because of this man. Let him go. The whole country is being destroyed. And you still dealing with him? Just get rid of them. But the Lord hardened his heart. So it don't matter what somebody says. And that you got to remember that to this day. If something is meant to happen, if the Lord hardens somebody's heart, if the Lord set a nation against us, it don't matter what you say. It don't matter what you do. You cannot make America love you. You can't vote your way into the love of America because the Lord set that nation against us. That's in Deuteronomy and all through the scriptures, really. You can't fix that. You're just a part of something that's playing out. You're either gonna, what's that saying? Oh man, saying escapes me right now, but this is saying about history. You know, you could stand in the way and get run over. Y'all would know what I'm saying. You can't stop it. You can't love. They were not going to talk sense into Pharaoh. All right, verse 8. Then Moses and Aaron were brought again unto Pharaoh, and he said unto them, go, serve the Lord your God. But who are they that shall go? So Pharaoh's saying, all right, go ahead, but who are you taking with you? So he's not quite letting them go. He's saying, wait a minute, who's going with you? We're going to get back to the Hebrew from verse 9. Verse 9, Wayamar Masha, Bana Arianya, by Arianwa, Wabazakwanyanwa, Nalak, Babanayanwa, Wabanawath, Noah, Wataza Anwa, Wabakorar, Noah, Nalak Kaya, Hag Yahawa, Lanawa. Verse 10, Wayamar, Alaham, Yahayakan, Yahawa, Imkun, Kashar, Ashalach, Athkum, Wa'ath, Tapkum, Ra'awa Kaya, Ra'aya, Nagad, Paniakum. Verse 11, La'akan, Lakwa Na'a, Hagabaryam, Wa'ibadwa, Athyahawa, Kaya, Atha, Athum, Mabakwashim, Wayagarash, Athum, Ma'ath Punya Paraya. Verse 12, Wayamar Yahweh al Masha, Nata, Yadka al Arataza, Matazarium, Barabah, Wayal al Arataza, Matazarium, Wayakal, Athkal, Ashab, Arataza, Athkal, Ashar, Hashayar, Habarad. Verse 13, Wayat Masha, Ath Matawa, al Arataza, Matazarium, Wayahawa, Nahag, Rakah, Quadium, Barataza, Kal, Hayawum, Hawa, Wakal, Halayla, Abakwar, Haya, Warak, Haquadium, Nasha, Ath, Harabah. Verse 14, Wayal, Harabah, Al Kal, Ratazam, Wayanak, Bakal, Gabwal, Matazarium, Kabad, Ma'ad, Apunyawala, Haya, Khan, Arabah, Kamawa, Wakaryawa, La'ad, Yahya Khan. Verse 15, Wakasath, Ayan, Kal, Haratazah, Wathashak, Haratazah, Wayakal, Ath, Kal, Aisha, Haratazah, Wa'ath, Kal, Parya, Ha'aitazah, Ashar, Hawathar, Abrad, Wala'ah, Nothar, Kal, Yarak, Ba'aitzah, Waba'aishab, Hashadah, Bakal, Aratazah, Matazarium. And back to the English from verse 9. And Moses said, we will go with our young and with our old, with our sons and with our daughters, with our flocks and with our herds we will go. Will we go? For we must hold a feast unto the Lord. So Pharaoh tried to say, all right, you go, but who are you taking? Moses said, we taking everything. We taking everybody and everything because we're holding a feast to the Lord. And to this day, when we have made the high holy days, we're all supposed to be gathering in one place to hold a feast to the Lord. That's everybody. The Passover that's coming up in Atlanta, everybody is supposed to be there. Verse 10, he said unto them, let the Lord be so with you, as I will let you go, and your little ones. Look to it, for evil is before you. Not so. Go now, ye that are men, and serve the Lord. For that he did desire, and they were driven out from Pharaoh's presence. And so he did it again. He tried to do this on his terms, not on the Lord's terms. So verse 12, Lord got something for him. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail hath left. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coasts of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall be such. So you can't even conceive of what this looked like. You can't even imagine what this felt like. If you're some Egyptian sitting in the field, looking just sitting there depressed in your field, looking at what the hail did, and all of a sudden, just a wall of locusts comes flooding in. Verse 15, for they covered the face of the whole earth so that the land was darkened. And they did eat every herb of the land and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left. And there remained not any green thing in the trees or in the herbs of the field through all the land of Egypt. And so we're going to go back to the Hebrew now, verse 16. Verse 16. Vayamahar parai Korah, Lamasha, Walaran, Vayamar, Hatathia, Vayahawa, Alahayakum, Walakam, verse 17. Waitha, Sha'a, Na'a, Hatathia, Akhaprayim, Wahayathiorwa, Vayahawa, Alahayakum, Vayashar, Ma'alia, Rak, Ath, Hamawath, Hazah, Wayatzah, Ma'aim, Pariah, Wayaithar, Al Yahweh, verse 19, Wayapak, Yahweh, Racha, Yom Chazak, Ma'ad, Wayashah, Ath, Harba, Wayathakwai, Yama, Sawak, La'ah, Nashar, Arba, Achad, Bakal, Gabawar, Matazarium, verse 20, Wayachazak, Yahweh Athla, Parai, Wala'ah, Shalach, Ath, Bunya Yasha'ala, verse 21, Wayamar, Yahweh Al Masha, Nata, Yadka, Al Hashemayim, Wayahaya, Hashak, Al Ratazah, Matazarium, Wayamash, Hashak, verse 22, Wayat Masha, Af Yadwa Al Hashemayim, Wayahaya, Hashak, Apollah, Bakal, Aratazah, Matazarium, Shoshath, Yum, and back to the English from verse 16. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste, and he said, I have sinned against you. Just a second. Yeah. Kind of. I have sinned against the Lord God and against you. So again, now Pharaoh, as soon as he's getting hit, he's humbling himself. He's humbling himself now that he's getting hit. Verse 17, now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat the Lord your God that he may take away from me this death only. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. And the Lord turned a mighty strong west wind, which took away the locusts and cast them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the coasts of Egypt. So again, this is showing the power of the Lord. This is showing that all he's got to do is do what all Pharaoh got to do is do what he's told, and everything is gone. All the locusts will be gone. Everything will be gone. But he can't do it. He can't help himself. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go. And again, that's why. And I'm going to keep driving in that point, that this was all done for a reason, and that this was spiritual, and that this was above reason. Man, this man cannot have been reasoned with no matter what. That was not the point. And sometimes that's just is what it is. And that's for y'all out there that's still talking about voting. That's for y'all to accept that you cannot reason with America. They're not. The Lord set them against us. Their heart is hardened by the Lord. You can't fix America. Verse 21, and the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hands towards heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. So now we're going to go back to the Hebrew again, verse 23. La'ara awayash achua wala'akumwa ayash masakathua shalashath yum walakal bunya yasha'ala ayah a war from Washabathum Verse 24, wa yakurab per ayah al masha wa yamar lakwa ibadwa ath Yahweh rak taza'ankum. Verse 25, wa yamar masha gumatha the sun but yet Salakia. More in verse 24. Wabakorakum Yatazad Gum Tapkum Yalak Imkum, verse 25. Wayamar Masha Gum Atha the Thun Wayanua Zabakyum Wailuath Waishinwa La Yahweh Alahayanawa, verse 26. Wagum Makunwa Yalak Imunwa La'a the Sha'ar Parasa Kaya Mamunwa Nakwak Laibad Ath Yahweh Alahayanawa Wa Nach Noah La'a Nadai Ma Naibad Ath Yahweh Id Anwa Shema, verse 27. Wa Kazak Yahweh Lab per ayah Wa Ba La Shalacham Wa Yamar Lawa per ayah Lak Ma'alia Ashamar Laka Af the Sap Rawath Panyakaya Bayawam Ra'athka Panya Thamawath, verse 29. Wayamar Masha Khan Tabarath La'a Sap Iwad Rawath Panyaka. Back to the English from verse 23. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So again, this is crazy. This is stuff going on that you can't explain naturally. You know, they try to do this because first they try to say that these things never happen, right? And then there's some of these Christians, because they can't really defend the Bible, so they try to find natural explanations for these plagues. But this is outlandish. Like, this is darkness that, as the scriptures say, could be felt. This is something you can't even conceive. You're out there in the middle of Egypt, in the middle of nowhere, and normally you at least have, like, you know, the moonlight, some stars, something. You got nothing, to the point where they didn't get up or move for 3 days because they couldn't even see each other. That's not an eclipse. That's not something that just naturally occasionally happens. This is supernatural. Verse 24, and Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, Go ye, serve the Lord, only let your flocks and your herds be stayed. Let your little ones also go with you. So now he's saying, all right, you can take the little ones, just leave the flocks and the herds. And you can't do this on your terms. Verse 25, and Moses said, Thou must give us also sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto the Lord our God. Our cattle also shall go with us. There shall not an hoof be left behind. For thereof must we take to serve the Lord our God, and we know not with what we must serve the Lord until we come thither. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh said unto him, Get thee from me, take heed to thyself, see my face no more. For in the day thou seest my face, thou shalt die. Verse 29, and Moses said, Thou hast spoken well. I will see thy face again no more. And that's the end of chapter 10, and that's what it's going to be. Pharaoh said it like that. Moses said, You got it. Chapter 11, and the Lord said unto Moses, Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Speak now. Back to the Hebrew. Back to the Hebrew from verse 2. This is 11 and 2. Count, the last set. I just finished the last one at 1. I think I went too. Yeah, I went one too far in the last one. So we're gonna start at 1 in the Hebrew. Wayamar Yahweh al Masha Iwad Nagai Achad Abiyah al Paraya al Matazarium Akarya Khan Yashalach Akum Mazah Tashalachwa Kala Garash Yagarash Athkum Mazah. Verse 2. The bar Na'ah Vazanya Aim Washalalwa Ayash Ma'ath Ra'aiwa Washa Ma'ath Ra'aiwatha Kalia Kasap Wakalia Zahab. Verse 3. Wayathunya Hawa'ath Hun Ha'aim Bayanya Matazarium Gum Hayash Masha Garwal Ma'ad Baratazar Matazarium Bayanya Ibadya Paraya Wabayanya Ha'aim. Verse 4. Wayamar Masha Ka'amar Yahweh Kakatazah Halayala Anya Yoatazah Bathwak Matazarium. Verse 5. Wamath Kal Bakwar Baratazah Matazarium Abakwar Paraya Hayashab Al Kasawa Id Bakwar Ashbaka Ashar Akar Arachim Wakal Bakwar Bahama. Verse 6. Wayatha Hazaikwa Gadala Wakal Rataza Matazaria Mashar Kamawa La'a Mayatha Wakamawa La'a Yasap. Verse 7. Walakal Bunyash Ala La'a Yakarataza Kalab Lashunwa Lamayash Wa'id Bahama Lama'ain Thadaiwan Ashar Yapla Yahweh Bayan Matazarium or Bayan Yasha'ala. Verse 8. Wayaradwa Kal Ibadka Allah Alia Washath Washathakwa Layal Amar Hazah Atha Wakal Ha'aim Ashar Waragalyaka Wakharya Khan Atazah Wayatazah Ma'aim Paraya Wakharya Ap. And back to the English from verse 2. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor and every woman of her neighbor jewels of silver and jewels of gold. So this goes back to the prophecy that we were going to spoil the Egyptians. Because this word borrow, you got to remember, some of these words have kind of like slightly evolved meanings from when they were translated in the 1600s. This doesn't mean borrow, because obviously they were leaving. They weren't borrowing them. They weren't bringing them back. This means you're going to your neighbor to get something. You're asking them for it. If you go into the Hebrew word, it's the word sha'al, which is to request. So don't get thrown off by that word borrow. They're taking the Egyptians' jewelry. They're going to their neighbor and saying, hey, let me get that. You see all that gold. Can I get that? Can I just hold that? I need that. We got to leave. I need all that gold. Verse 3, and the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants and in the sight of the people. Meaning everybody knew him and everybody understood that the Lord was with him. Verse 4, and Moses said, thus saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And so every one of these plagues, you see a stark distinction where they could be right next door and they're going through it. They're covered in locusts and blood and hail and fiery, bloody hail. And the Israelites next door are chilling. So the Lord letting the world know who he loves. Verse 8, and all these thy servants shall come down unto me and bow down themselves unto me, saying, get thee out. I had 8 as the last one.
Yeah, you saw that one? And you said that you went up.
Oh yeah, you're right. Count. So that's where we're gonna leave off. Y'all gonna have to tune in next week to get the rest of this. You're gonna have to tune in next week, and we're gonna read it from the Hebrew instead of watching it on the Disney Channel. We're gonna read it from the Hebrew instead of watching Charlton Heston act it out on TV. All right, we're gonna do this the right way, week by week. I mod them up here. Layasha, which means to Israel. I mod him in the room. So Punya, which means stand, turn, and face the east. You know, say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawi, Bashmayan, Rashaya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakaka, Tabah, Zaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barataja, Kawa, Hayah, Bashmayan, Nathanael, Bakam, Kaliwan, Wasalakano, Kawafno, Kasalakno, Kawafino, Wala, Tabayano, when I say one, Ball, Hawshine, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'al, Wathaparath, Thy William, Amen, in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Pray for the power structure in the Hebrew. Rakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shah, Wa Mayaka Allah, Wa Lahai, Matazab Yalawap Yahan, Alawap, Hasrun, Hakatayani, Hachayali, Wa Wathi, Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shah, the water Amun. The English, bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shah, and Michael, and the angels, Commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and assistants, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Prayer for the prophesied curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, listen to us now, right now. Send evils and curses, punishment and destruction to the heathen that speak against us, thy prophets, the teachers, princes, priests, the Israelite brothers, and the school. Send evils and curses, punishment and destruction to the heathen. Shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel. They refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. To the evils and curses, and punishment and destruction. To the Edomites, the nations, their drug dealers, the court system, the prison system, Planned Parenthood, all the governments of our enemies, Amalek synagogues and armies, the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope, Islam, Christianity, Egyptology, militia, Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, skinheads, posse comitatus, the gay movement, the lesbian movement, spies, workers of witchcraft, NASA space program, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Wall Street. Open up the internet, any airways, cable access channels, the radio channels, to break the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us, bring swift destruction. So all the heathen that stand in the way, try to stop us, and broadcast your words throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues, cause them to go to and fro through the earth and consume it. Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer. Let your house shine. Michael and Gabriel come down with the flying saucers. Punish all the heathens come up against us as we speak thy words. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake it thy coming. In the name of Yahushua, thank you always. So be it. Sorry, face the front. That concludes the Sabbath service. We're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Barak. Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua, Barakatham. Yajmatah. Dismissed. And we're going to pick up next week at verse 8.
Next week, we're going to pick up on Exodus chapter 11, verse 8. Shalom.